but it's helpful to see. So Heidi mentioned the HPA axis. Those of you who aren't familiar with this, it is the hypothalamus, I believe pituitary, and adrenal glands. So there's these messaging systems in the body. And what can happen is that if these adrenal glands are like these shock absorbers. They produce hormones, and that's all tied in, kind of with the hypothalamus and such. And then it's like a battery. All right, so this is, and it gives some suggestions like with rest and minerals and different things, but I think it's helpful to see this kind of this system with the HPA performance, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal connection. So the hypothalamus is the thermostat. If it doesn't get the message from the adrenals, then it and thinking's foggy, metabolism slows down, so it's connected to the system. The pituitary is a relay switch, and that'll affect the thyroid as well, or there's connection with the thyroid. Thyroid could be weak, sleep and appetite are disturbed. And then the adrenal is like the furnace. So that's in the, like in the house, that's going to say is where's the temperature kind of thing. So it'll mess it up if you shortcut or if you're using a different source outside of you, say for, a stimulant to try to boost those adrenals. It kind of throws off the system because it's like it's not the true adrenal furnace coming up, right? So I think this is kind of helpful to kind of see. And does anybody want to add in anything here with the HPA axis? I know it's a pretty important system.
I think you've covered it pretty well.
You're good. Okay.
And the HPT, HPT, thyroid. People confuse adrenal, thinking that stimulant is energy. Our energy, our body energy comes from the thyroid. That's what true energy is. It runs our metabolism.
Furnace, kind of, or the electricity or something. In the system.
Yeah, it runs the messages for our body's energy. That T3 is converted to T4. T4, every single cell in your body has a T4 receptor. So, and that's what turns on your metabolism. Okay. So that's why people with thyroid conditions can gain weight, because that system is disrupted in some way. That I think I said T3 is converted to T4. It's backwards. T4 is converted to T3.
Oh, and every cell has a T3 receptor. I was going to ask that. Okay. And then so when someone goes in to have a regular thyroid test, what if it's just a regular doctor that's not doing all four, what do they do as the first one?
TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, which is released from the pituitary.
Okay.
And now the PT axis, so the hypothalamus, the thermostat tells the pituitary, which tells the thyroid. So it releases TSH to tell the thyroid to rev up that T4 production. The body converts T4 to T3. Which, interesting to note, most medications are T4. The body has to convert it, and it can't convert a synthetic. So a lot of times medication don't help because it's T3 receptors that we have. But so that stimulant, feeling that adrenaline is, people try to stimulate that thinking that is energy. But when you feel true energy, the difference. It's not a shaky, it's not an upper stimulant, so yeah. And there's a whole, the circadian rhythm and how it all relates to that. We naturally have higher energy in the morning when our cortisol naturally rises, adrenaline naturally rises. So we feel great in the morning and then think, I've got to have that energy to get through the day. Whereas if we would use our circadian rhythm and start to recognize that instead of the ups and downs, we'd feel so much better. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's powerful. Stimulants damage the adrenal glands. That's just big. Oh, but this is really important to realize. other stimulants, not just caffeine and sugar. Anger is a stimulant. Rage, arguing, hatred, loud music, the news. Oh my gosh, think about how the news can jack up your adrenaline. I've set aside so much of that lately. I'm just like, oh, I just need my peace more than I need to know what's going on. So important to think about movies full of suspense. When you get really hooked into you're binge watching something that's, suspense oriented, just be aware. And then vigorous exercise, sexual energy can be parts of these stimulant things. And so it's important to realize that when you get that boost, and we talked about dopamine, when you get that dopamine boost, you are going to come down, and your adrenals are involved in that. They're involved in the roller coaster. So trying to stay more even keel is helpful. And this is sad. So children are even being born with weak adrenals because of nutritional deficiencies that have gotten worse and worse every generation. And that just concerns me. And you think about how early are the kids jumping into stimulant-oriented stuff, right? So the high intensity, video games, or the shows, or the, lots of drama going on in their social media. Okay, adrenal valor. It does support nervous system rebalance. It strengthens resistance and relieves stress. The mental and emotional intentions with this one: enhances courage and relieves fear, calms the mind and encourages a positive view, supports a shift into the physical being rather than mental space, allows one to shed emotional baggage and let go of stress, encourages a balance between sensitivity and strength, activates inner power, and strengthens personal resistance. So yes, when we need to strengthen our own, inner resources, this is a good one. So the health-related intentions, it supports healing from diseases that cause fatigue, that, so that where we lose the energy. So fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, MS, and Lyme disease. And it also supports the adrenal glands quite a bit. And so the word valor, if you think about what that word means, it is strength. It's like this, the opposite of a victim is to be the victor, and to have that and valor, I think, goes with that too. So the more of us that start understanding what really is the problem, the better we can address that. And so, and think about it, if we go off of intention, which is, okay, I want to correct my energetic balance. That doesn't mean I go for a soda, or that I just work on minerals, or I just work on, like clearing up this one disorder. It means that it's a global solution. And so we find the answers to that.